Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14. My name is Blue. I'm going to be hosting this match here between Fnatic and Team Dignitas. This is going to be a best-of-3 match here, starting off right now on Cash. We're going live with the knife round immediately, so let's get to it. It does appear that JW may not be playing. I noticed that when I joined the server, there was a little bit of a mix-up with the coaching system, so that might have been a problem, but it actually looks like this is not the case. Hold on. Trying to see to confirm it right now. But nope, there we go. JW is joining, so JW will be playing for the team. God is not going to be playing for these guys today. But yeah, I think they're fixing the coaching thing, so this may not actually be the real knife round. We'll figure that out in a second. But indeed, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. A lot of interesting changes coming up in the European scene over the past few weeks, and now for Dignitas as well. These guys have been trying to prove themselves after some of their own difficulties and some roster changes coming out from these guys, looking to now reestablish themselves. And Fnatic, of course, the biggest change for these guys as well is bringing on Dennis into the roster, which was a pretty big swing. So I haven't unfortunately had a really good chance to spectate what's been going on with this change and watching a lot of the online matches that Dennis has been involved in just as of yet. I was actually in California for the past like week and a half almost, so I was busy with doing other things, but now I'm back, now I've got a chance to spectate some more of this stuff. And indeed, it is unfortunately going to be a solo cast. I may try to bring in someone else to join me a little bit later, depending on how things go, but I had the stream set up for a solo cast already, so unfortunately it was like a little bit too late, and I couldn't bring that second caster, and I may have a chance to reconfigure it on the break, though, so we'll see how that goes. But it looks like Dignitas, they are going to be taking control of the knife round here, which means they're going to be getting their side choice to start off, and it looks like they're going to be jumping over onto the CT side in order to begin our map over here on Cash. This, of course, is only going to be the first map out of 3, though. This is the pick. Just want to refresh this and double-check it as... Oh, there we go. There's the admin's word on it now. So this was the first pick here, came out from Fnatic. The second map, which is going to go over on a Cobblestone, was Dignitas' pick. And then our third map, which, of course, is randomized from the remaining pool, is going to be over on Train. All the bands and whatnot are over on Half-Life TV in the usual spot if you guys are looking for that stuff if you're interested. But it looks like we are going to be going live now, so let's take a look at things here as Fnatic jumping onto that T side, moving themselves way back over here, looking to go for a bit of an A push after taking control of middle a little bit. We can see Olofmeister's boosted himself up just a little bit here to try and take some mid control. But unfortunately, he's going to meet some pretty heavy resistance here as Dignitas has put a lot of weight over towards this area. Now starting to move those players off, so that could actually be an easy entry, but tenzki's going to find the first 2 kills. Third kill comes out from him as he drops with KRIMZ, Tennis, Flusha, and now he finds a fourth as well in the JW. This one's already done for, and it's just going to be Olofmeister as the final player up to live. He did manage to get through boost, but he's surrounded a 1-on-5, and then MSL just going to finish it off. So tenzki just shuts it down right from the beginning, and that's a great start from Dignitas here over on the CT side now. So these guys started off very well, and unfortunately for Fnatic, things just do not go the way they wanted to for them, and they're going to push their way back in there. And well, unfortunately, they just end up getting destroyed by tenzki, holding back over there by the quad corner. No trouble at all for him to pick things off. And there you have it now, Team Dignitas up 1-0. Very heavy investment, as we can see, into the second round, going for pretty much every single player onto a rifle. Head armor as well, sitting behind it there. And now Fnatic, unfortunately, going to have to go for the upgraded pistol with armor sitting behind it. We can see a couple deagles, 4 deagles, in fact, being brought up behind those players. And Olofmeister does go for the Tech 9, baits out some shots to figure out positions of players from Dignitas initially by going over towards A main. But since it is smoked off, he's not really going to be able to make any progress. The rest of Fnatic, nice shot from Flusha as he finds an opening for his team back over here through the middle. This will allow Dennis to push through it, and it doesn't look like anybody else from Dignitas is going to try to resist it for the time being. But Config trying to figure out what's going on back over here behind V. He gets a nice frag there to respond to the earlier one. Picks up a kill over onto Flusha. We almost see Dennis picking up an additional shot, but not going to be able to connect it in time, and MSO will be able to dispatch of them. Kjærbye playing things very nicely as well from within side of the A site, takes out KRIMZ, and now these two unfortunately probably going to get dispatched pretty easily by tenzki. He's already taken one down, and JW sitting with that deagle down to 19 HP. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a whole lot that he's going to be able to do from this spot. I'm already just unloading. He's looking for maybe to get lucky with a deagle headshot, but no, not going to happen. Kjærbye clotheslines him on his way back inside of A main, and that's going to be the second point going onto the board now for Dignitas. And pretty minimal losses, too, only losing that one player. There is a bit of a risk in that second round because of the fact that they invest so heavily. If they do end up dropping, you know, like, potentially even like 2 players when you think about it on the CT side. If they drop like 2, 3, or even more players than that, that could be a very good round for Fnatic just in terms of trying to keep Dignitas' economy low. But surviving with 4 to 5 alive is not going to be what they were looking to get out of that one, especially by going for so many deagles there. So that just doesn't pan out for Fnatic very well. Now they have to take the light round here. And this one is probably just going to be a full 5-man push, or a pretty solidified push with at least 4 of their players. As we can see now, they're lining up to get themselves through middle in a moment, and they're going to try to push through here, but RUBINO already ready to hold this one off. If these guys push themselves in, then obviously he's going to be able to spot this. He's got a pretty safe position too. Overpeak can get a little bit now, but he's playing around from a pretty safe position. So he's going to spot this. Already taken one down. Should be able to grab that second one, but a little bit of trouble dispatching of olofmeister. Grabs JW though as they round the corner, and he's going to pick up some more here. There's another kill comes out for RUBINO. Finally, he's shut down by KRIMZ, but beyond this, of course, as we were saying before, as soon as he was able to spot that, we were going to have those quick rotates coming out from Dignitas, so there's no trouble at all shutting down that third and final round. And Dignitas started off pretty clean. Once again, in these two anti-ecos, only losing 2 players total, so this is going to be good. You can see their money situation actually isn't as perfect as we would like it to be here, but on quite a few of their players is sitting over 5k, which should allow them to go for another rebuy here if Fnatic do manage to pick up this first gun round. So as we take a look, Fnatic actually not going to have enough cash as of yet to invest to the op over here on a JW. Just going to take it on AKs to start things off. Decent amount of utility too, so it's not like they're going to be lapsing anything. And now Config actually taking a bit of an aggressive path here, trying to push his way through the smoke. Good lineup, is able to take down KRIMZ. And is now going to fall back a little bit. Just barely survives that encounter with 8 HP, but he gets some nice intel. Did not manage to spot the bomb as it is sitting just outside of the back halls. He was not pushed far enough back, but look at olofmeister. Oh my goodness, olofmeister. He's sitting right behind him, and he waits for tenzki to turn around. I think he wanted to go for the knife, but decides against it there, hoping some more players would come into play, but that's a great patient play for olofmeister. He's going to catch Kjærbye as well as he tries to fall back behind the red box. Not going to be able to kill him, but he does get some good damage, and that's a nice opener for olofmeister. And now, once again, here, the players from Fnatic do manage to tie things back up. And some good damage being done over here on a config as well to bring him down to 8 HP. But there's RUBINO finding the trade over on a JW. So it's not easy sailing just as of yet for the members of Fnatic. Now we can see them slowly creeping their way into A main as that's the best path they've had there. Flusha lining up 1 kill after Dennis picks up RUBINO, but Kjærbye, he was able to find another response. So now it's brought down into another even battle, a 2 versus 2. And we can see MSL coming back in through A main. Currently, it doesn't look like Fnatic have very good coverage onto it. Olofmeister's looking towards it, but there you go. MSL just sneaks right in there, picks up one of the kills, and finds a second one as well. So very easy retake for the members of Team Dignitas to find. They're going to be able to get right back into it. Granted, they lose a lot more players this time, but it's still a round pickup. And again, Fnatic probably going to be forced onto another pretty light buy. Tech 9 armor max if they do decide to go for that. But if not, it's just going to be very, very light upgrades coming into the next one with probably P250s max. We'll see what their decision is. They could actually go for another AK buy if they wanted to, but they'd be missing a lot of utility, so they will go for this choice to try and exhaust their money situation, as again, they'll be on the full losing bonus after this one. This one's going to be a lot lighter. They will take the risk on going for the full AK buy, but if this one doesn't pan out, they're definitely going to have to shoot themselves onto another eco. But that was a great hold from Dignitas there, too. And things are looking a little bit shaky with olofmeister finding that good opener, but then that rotation from MSL, unfortunately, Fnatic just don't think that's going to happen at all. So that catches them completely off guard, and MSL makes a retake that could have been a little bit problematic, a very easy one to accomplish. So that's a good save that comes out there from MSL, allows Team Dignitas now to swing things up to 4-0, and Fnatic creates a little bit of a problem that they have put themselves into right here. And let me adjust the volume, by the way. I know you guys have been trying to figure out, or have been complaining about that a little bit, so I will play with that as the game is going on. But Config actually gets that nice molly outside there. Does a decent amount of damage, it seems, here, too. Both KRIMZ and JW are forced outside of the Sunroom now because of this. KRIMZ down to 71 at JW. He's inside of A main, so he's not playing towards it, but MSL and Config are actually going to clean both of those players up as they try to peek again. No bomb spot as of yet, but Dignitas right now are just doing an absolutely great job of holding on to that B site. We do see 1 kill being picked up by JW, I believe, back over here. Just over inside of the mid-garage. He is going to find a kill over onto RUBINO, but it still doesn't really make up for the odds right now. Unfortunately for Dignitas, they have had to split their remaining 4 players up, so it's going to be a 2-man hold back over here on the A site. But they've been pretty good at holding this one so far, too. Specifically, tenzki playing back over here by Quad has been an absolute beast so far. So they're going to work their way in. Finally, tenzki's going to fall, but at a heavy cost to olofmeister. And we can see Kjærbye in there, too, trying to hold on to his own life. He has to fall back, now down at 12 HP himself as he falls behind the shed. But look, there's another player sitting back over here in Quad corner. They haven't spotted, but MSL doesn't realize it. Olofmeister just going to walk completely around him there. Takes him down nice and easily. And now, again, Dignitas are left with that 2 versus 2 retake. But another great molly placement comes back out. That's going to allow them to take down olofmeister. JW will find the trade on a config. And now Kjærbye with 12 HP trying to clutch. He's got a good position, but he's got to catch JW in time. And it doesn't look like he wants to peek out from behind Big Red. He can spot him in a second, but JW's done the same. But it's going to be Kjærbye that closes it out just nicely there. Unfortunately for JW, not able to find that one little shot that was needed in order to take down Kjærbye in time. So he's going to survive that. Doesn't take a single hint of damage from JW. And now for Team Dignitas, they went out yet another round. Still a very heavy cost to them, which could become problematic later on. But as we can see by their current stack of money, they've still got plenty left from the way that they've been building themselves up on the anti-ecos. And specifically for Config, sitting at 12.3k, he's got a lot there. So as we can see, he's going to have to expend some of it to drop a gun back over here to RUBINO. But still, these guys are looking okay. It's still on a bit of an edge, though, for Fnatic. If Fnatic managed to pick up... Look at the money right now. Even just one might be enough, depending on how Dignitas want to play their economy. That is something they need to consider. But right now, Dignitas are doing a good job on these clutches, so it's not really a necessary thing to worry about just as of yet. And Fnatic as well, thankful to the full losing bonus. They are able to go for another buy here too. But the big problem for them so far has just been getting themselves into these sites with enough players at the line. They're getting picked off very, very early by the members of Team Dignitas, and there's another example of that right now. No smoke inside of Z, no one's investigated what's going on to it, so MSL is just able to pick off a nice, easy kill right there from the beginning. JW again does find a trade, but we still have tenzki back over here. He picks up one. Dennis is there for another one for his teammate, but again, tenzki from within side of that quad corner, he picks up KRIMZ, so now it's into a 3-on-2. Team Dignitas trying to rotate in. MSL trying to get sneaky again, but fails against JW as he does a nice job of holding himself up. Survives that encounter with 2 HP. We've got Config going for the rotate inside of A main. And as for the 2 remaining members on Fnatic at this point, no bomb control. So this is going to get very, very rough for these guys to work towards, because not only now can't they just sneak inside of B and go for a plant there, they've got to go in, retake A main, and then get onto the A site too with only 30 seconds left on the clock. So this is going to be a very, very rough task for the members of Fnatic to accomplish if they want to try to somehow clutch out this round. And there's no reason at all to say why Dignitas should not win this one. So Config's going to get a position back over here by the locker rooms. See Dennis slowly sneaking in. This is going to be a rough one from the find, so no surprise there to see Config lining that one up. And JW, he's got 2 HP, but not going to be able to pick up any of these kills. And with 10 seconds left, he is going to go for the choice to stay very far away from everybody on Dignitas, as I think they are still expecting him to make a play. They've not fully realized just how low his HP is, so he should be able to escape with this rifle. With the timer now expiring, there is no way either of these members of Dignitas. So he will save that AK. They'll have that at least going into the next round. But unfortunately, with no plant, the previous 2 rounds they've been able to get plants, and that's why they've been able to still sneak through with these buys. But this is not going to be the case now, and unfortunately for JW, he's now going to have the only AK going into this round, because they finally lost that little bit of a boost they had before in these gun rounds, which was being able to get that plant. That pushed them sort of over the edge of a line to buy up AKs. Now they no longer have this. And for Team Dignitas, of course, again, still not necessarily safe, but they're keeping themselves going through, which is the most important thing. And leading 6 points up is obviously going to be a very big deal, but there's a lot of players over here for Fnatic trying to hug the wall. Config, unfortunately, only able to pick up one before KRIMZ finds the trade. MSL getting into a battle there, too. Very, very brutal here, back over in mid and inside the B site. Fnatic do brute force their way back in here, but their players have taken a lot of damage, as we can see. Kjærbye picks up the first kill over here as the later trades begin to happen over on a JW. And now we see Dignitas moving themselves back into here. They did manage to get that AK back over here on the Dennis. I believe that got dropped by JW. And they're actually going to get aggressive with this one, too. They're looking for the players outside of CT main. But RUBINO, I'm not sure if he's actually realized this now. He knows this is coming, so he's going to try to take down KRIMZ. He'll find him. The retake is moving itself in. And unfortunately for Dennis now, he's pushed himself outside of the site. Now, it's going to be a bit unpredictable. In fact, he's going to pick up one kill, trying to find the second, but RUBINO is going to get the drop on him, literally takes him down. They've got a kit, so obviously they're going to have enough time to grab this defuse. And again, another very, very close one here for Dignitas. But thankfully, again, due to the early trades, and again, very good retake ability here from Dignitas as well. Unfortunately, Fnatic, it's either, I mean, I know this is a very broad statement, but for Fnatic, it's either very early in the round they managed to screw up, or very late in the round they managed to screw up. This, I think, was a little bit more of an example of it happening earlier. It's still good that they managed to get themselves that far with that little amount of gun spread, considering how much Dignitas had been dominating up to this point. But still, it doesn't make up for a lot of the earlier rounds where they just get picked off 2 players right at the beginning. They get themselves into the site eventually, and then they end up losing themselves later on. Also, just as a note here too, with the money they saved from the previous round, we now have an op coming into play, but it's in the hands of olofmeister. So this will be interesting to see how this one plays out as well. Look for the pick back over there for boost. Not going to find any action just as of yet, but we can see once again here. Now, Fnatic finally getting ready to actually do something a little bit more straightforward. They've been trying to do these sort of trick plays where they have players throwing fakes and whatnot, or just trying to make some noise over at these sites, but this time it just seems fairly direct with them moving themselves into the A site. The last round they did a little bit too, but that's to some degree to be expected with the buy they had going into this one. This time they've got full guns and the op in the hands of olofmeister. And now they're going to try to just move themselves directly into that A site with a full 4-man push. The problem is, though, is again, Dignitas know this is happening. Dignitas is very good at predicting this. So you got RUBINO back by the truck. 2 players on site. Unfortunately, MSL's not going to be able to hold himself on. Neither will tenzki and JW. Good entries from him. There's KRIMZ with another one as well. And finally, Fnatic do very, very well with getting themselves onto that A site. Mid goes well here, too. So it's just olofmeister trying to hold back Config. He spotted him for sure. And now Config trying to work a miracle here. Good pop flash, but unfortunately for olofmeister, unfortunately for Config, rather, olofmeister is sitting back over here, there behind the boxes, so he's not going to be affected by that. And Config as well is just going to make the conscious choice to fall back and try to save this one. Will be a little bit tough, because again, they've already realized where he's moving in from, so it's not really going to be like a big mystery as to where he's moved towards. They can easily box him in. They've already accomplished this. olofmeister trying to take him down, but actually doesn't realize he's just there over on the other side of that wall, so he peeks back out, trying to get himself into the V site, but olofmeister's ready for it now, and he's going to shut him down with the op shot. So there you go, Fnatic finally picking up a round here very, very late into the half. putting it up to 7-1, but still the big lead from Dignitas, so it's going to be tough to make a comeback from. Thankfully, again, this brings up the issue of what we were seeing before from the side of Dignitas, to where, yes, they were winning out these rounds, but they were very close. It was Fnatic missing that little bit of an oomph to get them over the edge, and finally they find it this time in a very big way by having such a successful entry onto the A site. This time, Dignitas, because of how light their money, or because of how light the amount of players they had alive at the end of these rounds had been, they're not really going to have a whole lot of money left just after one round loss, so they're almost immediately down to a very, very light buy. We can see this round they've got enough, but if they drop another one, it's going to get rough going into round number 10. Thankfully, Config is doing some work in the back B halls over there. Takes out both olofmeister and flusha right from the beginning, and RUBINO takes a bit of a risk standing outside in the open, just outside of Z, but he's able to line up the headshot on a JW, which takes him out of the play. And now again, Dignitas have immediately taken back control, and unfortunately for Fnatic, they have this aggression going for themselves, thinking they're in a very confident position, but this is not the case, and Config just absolutely destroys them in the back B hall, so they're not able to make a push here. Mid has fallen as well. KRIMZ, thankfully, is going to be able to pick up at least one for his team. Rounding this round back into the favor of Fnatic is going to be a very, very tough task to accomplish, especially now that they're still down to a 2-on-4 even after finding that kill. We can see the final two players on Fnatic essentially just waiting for aggression to come back out against them here too, as Dignitas actually is going to hold back pretty preservatively. The only player that's moved out aggressively at this point is probably going to be tenzki, but, you know, considering the 4 versus 2 advantage, tenzki's really not in that aggressive of a position either here, because there's literally no presence from Fnatic, and he is going to be allowed to flank it, potentially just open up a huge flank angle right behind these guys to catch them off guard. But RUBINO actually, look at, catches one, and he's going to catch the other one as well. RUBINO sets the trap and springs it himself, no help needed from his teammates, and does all that with 8 HP as well, so picks up the final 2 players on the side of Fnatic, shuts them down, and immediately retakes their advantage here, and they get a free op for their troubles here as well, which, to be honest, I don't really, if my memory serves me correctly, I don't really believe they've been using it op too heavily up to this point, so RUBINO's gonna get that, gonna keep it to himself for the time being to use this. That's a very powerful gun that goes into their hands. Meanwhile, on Fnatic, it's the buy bazaar, essentially here. 2 AKs, a P90 on Olofmeister, a Tech 9 on Dennis, and an op on KRIMZ. So these guys are trying to work whatever they... Oh! KRIMZ with a nice peek shot there, takes down RUBINO, and immediately drops the opera there, and it clears one member from the A site. So that's a great start, especially because Fnatic, they're looking to move their way over here towards the A site as well, judging from the current rotation. So Kjærbye actually tossing out, I think, that gun over there to try and throw them for a ruse a little bit to hopefully bait out Kjærbye's shots. He will succeed eventually, but not through the method he was trying to accomplish it for. And now we can see Dennis as well. They move their way in through middle. They've got control of this one. This is going to get very, very tough for Dignitas to hold, because now they've been pinched. And there's KRIMZ, finds another op shot, shuts it down. Olofmeister's got a second up now to work with here. Takes out Kjærbye. And now it's just Config stuck back over here. Hasn't even made his way past Z just as of yet either, so he's been trapped. There's no way he's going to be able to do anything, and this is a good second round for Fnatic, all coming off of the hands of KRIMZ finding that good opening shot, and they also get some good progress made over there by getting an entry in the middle as well. So they take immediate control. The players that from Dignitas that are on the A side have been pinched, and it's extremely hard to keep themselves alive, especially because they were hanging out just outside of Highway anyway, so those are easy pickings, and for the final players on Dignitas, they get caught either on the rotates here or... okay, not sure what exactly Olofmeister is doing, but it works out as a bait for JW, I suppose, and JW, what? He's not going to pick up the op there, it seems, so he's just going to leave that dead. KRIMZ, I guess they're happy with just using the one op on the T side there, which again is pretty normal, so they will, it looks like, maybe toss it over to JW now? No? KRIMZ is still hanging on to it? Seems to be the case, so JW is still not going to be picking up that op just as of yet. And now for Dignitas, they've been completely broken this time around, so the biggest thing they're going to have is RUBINO, who's gone for 5.7 pistol, upgraded pistol, or armor, I should say. And then the 2 flashes, which is one he's already used, and for the rest of the team, they've only got one other thing. There's KRIMZ finding a good opening shot, completely blind with the smoke, and he gets a second one as well. Shuts down Config along with MSL. Both of them pretty much completely blind kills. I'm not sure if he was able to see like a foot or something, but takes them both down. And that explains why JW doesn't seem to have the op for now, because KRIMZ can do it just fine. So now for Fnatic, again, they've got their pickings. I'm not sure if they exactly know this is an eco round just as yet, but they should be able to suspect it. So now with those 2 kills already coming by their way, the rest of this round should be very easy to execute upon. Dignitas trying to hold things off. They've got players in aggressive positions, two inside of Squeaky, as you can see, so these are not going to do anything. They've already gotten themselves an A. If these 2 players had been on the A site, they might have been able to resist it a little bit better, but it's just not going to be the case. And now olofmeister trying to hunt them down. Should be able to find tenzki here. Takes him out of the picture. And now Kjærbye might get the drop on olofmeister, but he realizes he's there, getting some good damage. Actually, is going to be able to take him down. And olofmeister, fortunately, not connecting a single shot, but that second kill going to be a lot harder to accomplish there, and flusha will find the trade for it. So again, Fnatic, they can easily eat 1 death on their T side here. And a very swift entry. It does make that 3rd point come onto the board very quickly and very cleanly for the members of Fnatic here. But it does segue us very quickly into another buy round from the members of Team Dignitas. So we will have to see how they work this one back out for themselves here as well. As Config, not even able to get a rifle for himself, just has to go with the UMP. It's a lot of utility behind it, along with the only kit for this team. But if he plays it aggressively, as you can see there by the X-ray, he's going to run into a whole world of hurt as soon as he comes outside of that smoke. It looks like he might go for it. He's got to be very careful. He's boosted up right now. He's going to wait to see it, but he hasn't spotted JW or Dennis. Both of them, that smoke is positioned very unfortunately for Config. So these guys are going to move, but the big question is, will they spot Config on top of the box either? And oh, there we go. Okay. Olofmeister jumps up and does spot him, and unfortunately for MSL, gets that intel out just a little bit too late, so the trade will not be coming into play. RUBINO's looking for it, but he does have a little bit of a messy time getting himself down outside of vents. Still picks up the kill regardless, though, and they found a way back in, but immediately that will get traded back out by flusha. And JW even getting aggressive inside of Z as well. He's going to be able to take down tenzki. And now it's just Kjærbye stuck inside of Z. Gonna have to try to work a miracle here to come back. Finds the first kill. Has to deal with flusha back over here. He's got the op to work against Kjærbye, and he just clotheslines him as he tries to peek back out, shutting him down. JW was on his way on the flank anyway. And there you have it. Now 4-8 Fnatic on their way back in. Still a lot of work to do. And what is this buy from Dennis? I would say misbuy, but honestly at this point I'm not too sure. I'm gonna assume misbuy. But they also should know that Dignitas are going to be on an eco round, so maybe not. But there's Kjærbye picking up a good kill to start things off. Gets the Huan-Dig to shut down JW. flusha does find the trade for it, so unfortunately that good shot from RUBINO is not going to be much, or Kjærbye I should say, to start things off. As the rest of Fnatic still very good control over the map. Olofmeister waiting for more to come back in. There's Kjærbye going down. RUBINO trying to find those deagle shots, but not going to be able to find it. Olofmeister dancing for his life right now. And Dennis has not been able to do anything yet with this M2. So they don't really know that he's got this to work with. And tenzki, look, config, come on, man, that's not what it is. It's not a gev. So Dennis just holds the mobile lawnmower here, trying to wait and see if he can pick anything up. And tenzki here, gonna try to line up some kills at the end, but not really gonna be able to find anything without any armor or whatnot sitting behind it. So there's gonna be Olofmeister picking up the final kill. Again, taking some heat for it, but it's not really gonna matter. It just does some armor damage. It's gonna be fine. And JW is swearing on his mum that that was the wrong buy. I don't know, Dennis, or I don't know JW actually. But Dennis is gonna keep it, so we'll see what he can do with it here, because this time he's actually probably gonna have to use it. Unfortunately, they're going to have to go against another full buy here for the members of Team Dignitas. They've got a decent... the biggest thing here for Dignitas is they don't have a whole lot of utility to hold this off. So you can already see they're pushing in, but Kjærbye and tenzki catch them inside of A main, so immediately going to pick up 2 kills. tenzki knows JW is inside of this smoke right now. He's going to drop down, looking for KRIMZ. A little bit late on that spray, so he's not going to be able to save Kjærbye, but he does get it in time in order to take out KRIMZ. But there's JW, though, picking up some more kills. Drops down to RUBINO, trying to save this round for his teammates. They are a man down. They've lost bomb control. It's sitting inside of the site, so they're going to have to find a creative way, but they've taken this a little bit too slowly. That does not matter for flusha, though. He finds a opening kill back over here onto MSL. tenzki looking for one. He's going to find it, but flusha as well, trying to flank him, but he doesn't even realize it's coming in. So there's config picking up the final one, and a good hold from Dignitas once again puts them back into control of this matchup. Best case scenario for Fnatic now is going to be a 9-6, and they'll invest everything they can into this final round here. No rebuy on that M2 coming out from Dennis, but we will see 2 ops into play here, so both JW and Olofmeister are going to have one going into this round as they buy out everything they can here. It's the same story from Dignitas. Only 1 op for these guys to work with, but they've got the full buy going for themselves. A little bit weak on Kjærbye when you look at him, and actually a good opening op shot. Not going to be able to connect the full amount of damage back over there, but it does bring him down to 16 HP, which once again should be a good start for Fnatic. Now, they actually fall back from middle after finding that opening shot. So you still have the opper boosted up on top, but no direct push coming out inside. And it will end up being RUBINO that catches the op shot over onto JW. And they'll find the first kill, but they traded off a decent amount of damage, and Dennis is going to go for the pick back up onto this op as well. And you still have that default rotation. Dignitas, they haven't been able to figure out exactly what is going on just as of yet, as Fnatic now moves a lot of their players inside of A main back over here to try to make a push towards it. There's going to be Olofmeister. Really good peek. If you could see it on the minimap, unfortunately, auto-director didn't catch it, but he actually catches that shot, just blind peeks back over there outside of A main. And there's another one from Dennis. The ops are doing some work inside of A main here. RUBINO looking for a response, but even he's been hit pretty heavily too. He's now down at 14 HP. Olofmeister, for some reason, way up on top of Big Red. He's going to be able to catch 1 kill, but there's KRIMZ now, just waiting outside in middle. He finds config. MSL going to try to do something. He pushes back in, but Dennis finds the trade once again. Takes down MSL. Now a 1 versus 2. And KRIMZ just sneaks his way up highway there. Picks up the final one. And there's going to be Fnatic picking up at least 1 more round. So an absolutely abysmal start here, let's be honest, for Fnatic as they get themselves into this one. they do manage to bring it back very nicely. Starts it off, I think it was 7-0 before they, 7-0 before they finally managed to pick up a round. But after that, when they do a very good job of at least bringing it up to a sort of admirable 9-6 scoreline, which I guess you could call a little bit more standard for this map. I would generally say it's a little bit more even around the 8-7 margin, but 9-6 is an absolutely the worst situation in the world here. And obviously, it's still very, very recoverable by Fnatic if they are able to pick up this first round and don't have any trouble with the second force-up round from Dignitas either, assuming they do go for that. Obviously, again, if Dignitas do get the plant going for themselves here, they could just save the second round and go for the third. But even then, of course, they got to worry about that. So, starting things off, JW catches a nice amount of aggression back over there inside of mid. Doesn't actually see where it goes, but obviously the timing should tell the story now. And there's flusha catching one player. Olofmeister getting aggressive. Not only takes down tenzki, but RUBINO as well, and the bomb with it here. And flusha holding back over here by the head glitch, trying to take out now the final player. And some nice steady aim does allow him to pick that one up there. Takes out Config, and there's a perfect start to half number 2 here coming out from Fnatic. And this time, they're not going to take the course that Dignitas took on the first half here. They're actually going to go for pretty heavy investments onto the SMGs. As we can see, 2 of them being bought up, 3 others going for the rifles though, so this is fairly standard as far as we expect for second round buys here. No additional money going to be picked up from any of these guns though, as they're both P90s, and of course we all know that doesn't really get the extra bonus cash from it. And the 3 rifles will do their own amount of work, but we'll see what these are both positioned at here. flusha putting his actually up on top of the B site, and Dennis working for A, so they've split them up. flusha, I believe, has spotted this aggression. That nade could actually do a whole lot of damage there. Does a decent amount, but he's slowly being flanked. He doesn't realize it there. So we see Olofmeister picking up 1. The trade's coming out, though. Still in the favor of Fnatic for the time being, but some good progress made by Dignitas. Again, there's going to be a good drop kill that comes out from JW, but they're quick on the trades on that T side there, and Olofmeister lining up another one. They get the plant, but again, RUBINO will end up shutting it down there, and that's still going to be the round 1 by Fnatic. Some decent damage done, and they get a plant, so you really can't call that one an absolutely horrible round. So unfortunately for Dignitas, they're not going to be able to pick up the lead just as of yet here. They do at least manage to do some decent damage, and like I said, they scavenge some money, which is going to be a lot more useful on that 4th round, of course, depending on what they decide to do here. But with the buy-up just happening, they're not really going to be able to afford anything just as of yet. This will be the light buy round with the Glocks and P250s at most. Maybe a Rogue Tech 9 or Deagle or 2, which we can actually see quite a few of them coming out. 2 Deagles on both RUBINO, 3 Deagles, 4 Deagles, sorry. Didn't notice those late buys there. So you got RUBINO, Kjærbye, tenzki, and Config all going for Deagle buy-ups here. No armor sitting behind him. Granted, again, this isn't the worst choice in the world to not have armor sitting behind a Deagle, as it's a peak weapon, so you can sort of pop out, look for a shot, and then immediately go behind cover. So the armor, you really need to get 1 to 2 shots, of course, as you look at those 1 peak shots. So having armor, not having armor, I should say, isn't necessarily the worst story in the world here to have a Deagle. So you can see JW, though, picks up the first kill. Some good damage done by tenzki. They're basically just waiting to catch him out of cover there and making sure they keep themselves mobile so to avoid the 1 peaks. That was KRIMZ shutting down Kjærbye as he tries to come back in through Squeaky. MSL has a good opportunity here, but I think MSL is the one with the Tech 9, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to catch those 1 shots there. So he does not have the Deagle, and yeah, that's not the way that Dignitas wanted to work that round, unfortunately, as Fnatic just hold them back, and not a single player from Dignitas even manages to get themselves onto the site. So that's not going to be very fruitful for these guys. And now, of course, they'll go on to the buy run regardless. Still no op. It doesn't really look like they would have been able to afford it. The only player that probably could have bought it would have been RUBINO. But even then, he might have not had enough. And if so, probably would have been a glass cannon. So we're not going to see that op coming into play just as of yet. It's going to be a little bit harder to work it without the armor on this map. So we can see the rest of Dignitas now. Very aggressive mid control to start this off. So this could get very interesting because you can just see the resistance here placed on it by Fnatic. So that Molly's going to come out. It's actually needed after KRIMZ finds the first kill. He catches the second one as well back over here on a config. So immediately 2 players getting shut down. And it was a good attempt from Dignitas to take mid control, but Fnatic predicted beautifully there. That's good foresight on their part as they just immediately catch this. And now again, Dignitas, their entire push has been destroyed now by Fnatic. So now Fnatic just have full control of middle. Dignitas have no control of either of the side lanes. As we can see, they're trying to push into back B, but they're slowly getting pinched on by the members of Fnatic as well. As we can see, they're going to go for the counter boost. They'll push, trying to see who this is. Going to push JW up on top of it. He won't catch anything initially, and tenzki's actually waiting for it. So tenzki could have an opportunity to turn things around by picking up a kill or 2, but it still won't be enough to turn around 2 versus 5. It's going to need a miracle here. And not just this too, but RUBINO. RUBINO's going to run into a rough time, because we can see the positioning of JW right now. He's flanked completely around, but actually no, tenzki rotates in time, so he catches that headshot there and avoids disaster, and this round completely being shut down. There's RUBINO with another one as well, so this one is not over yet. Unfortunately, all the pressure of getting that side entry falls onto RUBINO, as, you know, we have to have KRIMZ watching out, or not KRIMZ, we have to have tenzki watching out for the flank back over there inside of the garage, but he is eventually going to get taken down here, and RUBINO as well was already at low HP, so it's going to be Dennis that shuts him down, and now Fnatic again picking up another round. They get the lead back here. Actually, for the first time, they get the lead in this matchup here and bring it up to 10-9 in their favor. For Dignitas, not going to go for that next round investment. They do not get the buy, which is, of course, if you hark back to the first half, which is what allowed Fnatic to go for these buys so aggressively. This time, Dignitas are not going to be able to get it on their own first gun round, so they have to go for a Tech 9 and upgrade a pistol round with no armor sitting behind most of their players. RUBINO is the only player that is actually able to upgrade for it, so they'll just go for a boost. Again, playing things towards middle this time. 2 players boosted. I imagine at least one more might go over towards the garage, but the rest are going to hang back and watch out for an aggressive movement from Fnatic. We can see Fnatic's players now starting to shift themselves a little bit. RUBINO, a little bit messy, but he picks up the first kill over here on the JW as they find their way back over here, and now they're going to try to find their way dropping in. There's flusha with the first one, but they move in, and they don't even realize olofmeister is sitting right here, so he's just going to obliterate all of them. Nobody checks that far corner, and olofmeister just sits there. That's the second time now where he's had that trigger resistance play, and he just absolutely shuts down the complete offensive, or defenses as it happened the first time for Dignitas. And that's not what you want to have happening. So there you go. olofmeister just completely obliterates them because nobody checks that corner. He only gets 3 kills, ironically enough, so probably still would have gone that way even without his help, but he definitely solidifies the play there. And now for this one, Fnatic actually going for some pretty interesting weapons. Zenith, of course, does pick up the op this time, but KRIMZ going for the AUG. So we'll see what he can work with this one with a scoped gun. See if he's able to work anything with it. Now for Dignitas, a direct play to get themselves inside of the B side as well. 3 players moving in for it, but Fnatic, of course, with all the money they have at this point, we can just see the nade jamboree that's been tossed out against them. A Molly sitting inside of Checker, so they can't push that avenue just as we get the smoke instead of T-main. That nade is perfect. Look at tenzki, MSL, and Config's health. It's been completely destroyed. They're going to try to counter boost it, but olofmeister again, unfortunately gets 1, but the important thing out of that play is he gets the info, so he knows there's 2 players in there. He could probably tell they were trying to go for a counter boost too, so more players from Fnatic have moved over towards mid to cover for that exact eventuality, and now we see Dignitas, they're basically forced into the only play that they can confidently make, which is fall back, get themselves through the garage, and try to make a play through A, either through Squeaky or getting themselves on A main. But they actually move against it a little bit here, as tenzki is going to try to open up a little bit of a different angle by working his way over here through boost. KRIMZ is waiting, sitting behind the white box on highway, and Fnatic have not been able to rotate off just as of yet, so there is still a potentiality for Dignitas to find a way in, but not with Dennis finding shots like that, there isn't. KRIMZ holds back off middle as well, and now Dennis is probably going to be able to pick up the final kill here if he doesn't have any trouble versus RUBINO. RUBINO just tries to force the plant so they can try to get the money at least, but doesn't happen. Fnatic shut him down before they can even get that. And again, the big thing here for Fnatic as well is just their economy that they have built up for themselves. Very good defense, very good reads on what exactly Dignitas are able to do. olofmeister, again, he does end up going down, but the aggressive play he makes is going to allow him to spot the exact play that Dignitas were going for there, and that completely shuts that eventuality down. And now, of course, because of this too, they can rotate appropriately. They're able to avoid any unnecessary deaths because of a surprise play from Dignitas, and they only end up losing that 1 player there throughout the entire round. So a lot of money stacked up because of things like that so far happening through pretty much this entire half so far. And now we see Dignitas again, just going to try a direct play and see how it works. One of these smokes did mess up, so it's actually going to leave the site a little bit. Trying to see if I can get a good view on it. We can see here, back over here by forklift, they're not actually going to have a good smoke for it. So we see the boost that comes out from Dennis. That's going to shut down Config at the least, but they're pushing it too heavily. And MSL actually doing a great job here. Kjærbye too, finding another one back over by Truck as he gets ultra aggressive. And now flusha is going to be the last player alive. This is just pure blind play from Dignitas. It works out great, despite the fact that they mess up one of their smokes and they leave forklift a little overexposed. But they're still able to find a way in, and now it's on to flusha to work a 1-on-4 play. Finds 1 kill, but now he's been revealed, and that just makes it 20 times harder because they all know where to look for him now. flusha. Ooh, actually, he's gonna catch this very nice kill over here on the MSL. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the body could have been seen there, but actually he's gonna be able to catch him through that as well. So he sees him through the body and takes down at least 1 more player. So he does some good damage at the end of the round. He keeps himself alive here too. And when we look at the rest of Fnatic, they've easily got enough money here to work with too for the rest of these guys. So it's not like they're gonna have any trouble going for the rebuy. Yeah, I don't know how he got that shot either. I'm trying to remember now if the I don't think it is. I'm trying to remember now if the dead bodies are different on GoTV than it is in the game itself, but I'm pretty sure they're not. So I have no clue how he gets that shot. And now they work their way in. Here we go to the next one, but this time Fnatic expect this exact play to happen, so Fnatic are going to be able to easily dispatch this one. You can see MSL here too getting dropped down to 13 HP. And he's going to have to see what he can work. They haven't spotted him just yet. Oh my goodness, they haven't noticed him, but thankfully KRIMZ is held back over here. And you can just see the slaughter in itself with all the bodies. They get cut down by A main. They're not able to do anything in this round. And again, that's another swift pickup there by the members of Fnatic here, as we do allow Dignitas to get through the gates with at least one, but that's the only round they've been able to pick up so far in this entire half. Actually looking a lot like the first half when you just look at the round, so if Dignitas could swing back, that would be great, but again, they're not really going to have a very large investment coming into this one. Just upgraded pistols, no armor on any of their players at all, and RUBINO doesn't buy anything at all, as he's probably looking to save up for maybe an op going into the next round, or just purely he doesn't have enough cash to work with it, but Config has got the deagle, might be able to work something against olofmeister there, and in fact he does. Finds a headshot to shut him back out of the play. And Config is going to find the opening one, but this does prompt a smoke toss out there from flusha. However, it's not going to hold back the rest of it, and there's Dennis now finding a first one. That happens away from the main play, though. JW rotating in too. He catches one. A nice nade from flusha, just completely destroys MSL, because he has absolutely no armor to work with, so that's going to just rip him to shreds. And now you're down to Config and RUBINO. What starts off great from Dignitas, again, read very nicely by Fnatic and is found out. Now they're able to respond to it. JW finding one of the last final kills in for RUBINO. He's inside A main, so he's got a little bit of an air of mystery to himself, but unfortunately with only one kill happening onto a member of Fnatic, it's not like he's going to be able to go pick up a gun and run away with it. He might be able to do this, but I think the only kill they found was back over here inside of checkers. So he'll attempt to get himself in there to try and do something, but something isn't much, and he's only got the Glock, so it's not like it's even worth keeping himself alive. Just might as well run to the side and die. So there you go now, 14-10 for Fnatic. Like we said, started off very abysmal at the beginning of this first map, but they managed to bring it back extremely well, and have now brought it up to 14-10, just 2 more away from closing it out. And all the money in the world they need here, too. It's not like they're even under a risk of if Dignitas pick up like one round, they're going to be broken for 2, and that could put it up to like 13-14. That's not the case. They've easily got enough to buy through all this, so Fnatic are in a very secure position, and the pressure shifts to Dignitas mainly here to try and finally make an entry for themselves, which has been their biggest problem here. And even that, again, is probably not going to be a very good possibility, because we've got Fnatic get aggressive inside of Squeaky. They pick up 2 kills to start things off. MSL does find an entry through A main, and tenzki catching a good one through this smoke as well. But even with those, it's been traded back out, so he's still left into a 3-on-1. And tenzki's now the final player left alive inside of checkers, or inside of Squeak, I should say. Hoping to line up something, but probably not going to be possible. Olofmeister, I think, realizes that this exact play is going to happen. So he's just going to sit back, hope somebody peeks it, which will happen, but pretty late reaction, and now they definitely know he's in there. So JW's going to go for the peek, trying to find the kill, but it's not going to happen. JW wins the duel there, takes him down. And now Fnatic, almost a team ace there too. Flusha, the only one not able to get some action this time. And now the members of Fnatic are just spending money because they have the money to, as Dennis is going to be able to go for the auto sniper via it too. Puts him in a pretty risky spot, but like I said, with 14 to 13k sitting on Flusha and JW, they should still have enough. There should still be plenty of cash left over, and I think the toss have been broken for the most part. They will have a pretty confident buy when you look at it in terms of what they've brought into it. 4 Tech 9s and a Deagle, armor, and a decent utility stack sitting behind it. So it's still very, very possible for them to be able to work this one. But Fnatic, of course, have the big arsenal too, so that's going to be the biggest thing to work against here. I think the toss are just going to work themselves right into the site, but there we have it. KRIMZ up to 3 for himself there. Finally, he's traded out by tenzki, but the damage has already been done. And there's a good shot for RUBINO to maybe try and turn things back around. They've got a decent amount of smoke coverage here too, and look at what RUBINO has now. He does have that auto sniper, so maybe he can work something with this one, but JW has a flanked angle open back up, not checking back over there through highway, so he rolls in, catches the final 2 frags, and there you have it, guys. The first map is going to go by the way of Fnatic. 16-10 is going to be the final score, and they will start this set off 1-0 in their favor. 1 more to go, and they're going to win it out against Dignitas here. A good start from Dignitas, but unfortunately that second half on their T side didn't really work out the way they wanted to. Entries were probably their biggest weakness there, was finding correct ways to get themselves into the site. Failed to do that in almost every single round, and we can just see by the evidence here, throughout the entire second half, they only get 1, or technically 2, but they win this round anyway. They get 2 plants throughout the entire second half, and that's just not going to work out for a T side at all. So Fnatic swing back in the second half. It allows them to take map number 1. Now we're going on to our second map here in just a moment, which is going to be on Cobblestone, guys, so stick around. We'll be right back with more of the StarLadder Star Series in just a few moments.